Welcome to Degrees of Separation, a podcast where we journey to learn how we are connected and who we are connected to.
It gives us at least a glimpse of how connected we all are.
From entrepreneurs and small business owners to difference makers and thought leaders throughout our communities. This is Degrees of Separation with Joshua Peacock and Daryl DJ Sales.
What it do, man. We back off up in this thing one more time with a special live for y'all, man. Hey, yo, it's Elder Joshua Peacock.
And your boy Daryl DJ Sales.
Yes, sir. We back off in this thing one more time, man. Welcome to Degrees of Separation, man, where we come to get connected and see how we are connected already, man, and also how we connected through conversation. We have a very good conversation set for you today, man, and this covers it covers such a vast array of subjects, man. And today we're talking about sensationalism, man. Overhype. Yeah, man. Title called Overhype. And that's pretty much what sensationalism is. It means to exaggerate. It means to overhype something. You know what I mean? It means to aggrandize, or overstate something, man. And I know you know somebody, man, that likes to overhype. You know somebody that likes to overhype their life or one of their experiences, or one of those one-uppers, like I like to call them. You'll tell them like something that happened to you, but they got a similar story, but on a grander scale.
Bro, let me tell you who like that for real though. Like honestly, like my wife's mom, bro, my mother-in-law.
Yeah.
Nah, bro, you tell her something, man, she finna go ahead and blow that thing out of proportion. Oh, DJ almost got hit with a car. Yeah, man, he was within inches of his life. Man, I didn't tell you all that, bro.
That's funny, man. It was one dude, man, I used to work with years ago, man. And this one dude was talking about how his friend got shot, right? And this dude come, oh man, yeah, man, I knew somebody, man. He got shot with a chopper, man. He got shot with an AK, man. He got shot it was like a bunch of times, man, and he lives, man. I said, God, dog, bro. For real. Yeah, man. If I caught a 10-pound fish, he caught a 30-pound fish.
Right. Yeah. The ones that I got coming out the water, they ain't that big. They about big as your arm. He's like, yeah, right. Okay, we get you, buddy. Yeah.
That's funny, man.
He's like, bro, perch and mullets ain't jumping out like that, huh?
Right. That's hilarious, man. Well, that's what we deal with today, man. And at such a great scale. Like anything, man. Let's take the news for instance, man.
Facts.
And I was looking at it was something on Netflix. Was it Murdoch's? I think it was Rupert Murdoch. You ever heard of him?
Oh, the name rings bells.
Yeah, Rupert Murdoch. He was he's from Australia.
Yeah.
And he pretty much he's an Australian businessman, and he's the one who started Fox News.
I figured that. See, I was thinking something.
And he started the Fox Network.
Yeah.
He's still alive today. He's 91 years old. He was born in 1931. But he started.
What's his ethnicity? Do you know it, or his nationality?
He's from Melbourne, Australia.
Oh, okay. So okay, cool.
And then he did a lot of business in London and England, and then he came over in the United States in the early 90s, 80s, 90s, into New York. So he has Fox News, News Corp, Fox, Sky News, Fox Corporation, Sky Group. What else? Just stuff like he owned. He started with the newspapers.
Yeah,
and then he started buying up a bunch of majority newspaper publications in Australia, and then he went to Europe and he did the same thing in London and England and stuff like that. And then it was so bad in It was so bad in Australia, no, in London. Um, his wife, the people had a plot to kidnap his wife, but they grabbed the wrong woman and they held her for ransom, and they ended up killing her. And then
So
after that, go ahead.
what was that they motive operandus?
Because his he which one, the people that kidnapped it or him?
Yeah, the people that kidnapped her.
I don't know, man. I guess they just mistaken the lady, man. This is back in the 70s, I think. But
Yeah, it's like,
it's
bro, why
good.
y'all want my wife?
It's because they I'm telling you, he had a monopoly um on news. Once you have news, he pretty much sensationalized the news media, and we have um the television of today because of him.
Oh,
And
we followed his blueprint, sort of,
yes,
like all.
because when he came over to New York, Maury had his start with him because Maury used to what's the show? It was called what's the show? It's back in the 80s.
Boy, this is all new for me.
Oh man, it's good, man. It's
Back in the
good, man.
80s.
Yeah, back in the 80s. You was a little wee baby back then, man.
What you talking about, man? Donahue? What?
No, no, no. It was a news show, but it wasn't like your everyday news.
Ricky
That's
Lake? Jenny Jones? Oh,
nah.
you said news.
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna look it up real quick just to yeah. This wasn't this I wasn't even considering this when we had came up with the topic. Um, but it was a show from it was I can't remember it, man. I'm
I mean,
trying
it
to
can't be better than what is it? The Late Show or the Tonight Show with
it
Trevor
was
Noah?
before all well, not before all of this stuff. I gotta find it. Let me see. Give me 2 seconds, man. So he started the Maury Povich show back in '91, but this was before that.
I don't know why Maury seemed older than
Current
that.
affairs.
Current affairs.
Current affairs. Yeah.
Current affairs.
Current affair. Yeah.
Man, Peacock, you think I'm a? I don't.
I know
I
you
have.
don't remember it. I know you don't remember it. But just for our listeners, for everybody that's listening, Maury got his start in current affair, where it was a they covered the Berlin Wall coming down, but
Yeah.
while Tom Brokaw and all the other uh, you know publicly accepted news stations was there, and he said that he had I think Tom Brokaw and somebody else was on the other side of him, and he was there, and they was like, "What you doing here?" Because they didn't cover they covered. We got our reality TV from Rupert Murdoch. If you remember the three networks that were around, the three original networks are NBC, ABC, and what is it?
CBS,
It might be CBS.
EBS.
No, it
Oh,
might
just
be
the
CBS.
news.
CBS, ABC, and NBC, I believe. So, but before all of these things, before then we had Fox come in, ABC, CBS, and NBC. And then Fox came in the early 90s, late 80s, right? And you had those different type of shows like Cops.
Mm-hmm.
Then you had uh
Wait, so you blowing me away with this? Cause
yeah,
I ain't gonna lie, this is something that I had no clue of looking up. It honestly, the news is kind of boring to me, but I read a book. That's crazy. But so the purpose for the television, do you think that the purpose for, or are you telling me that the purpose for the television is intertwined with news?
yes. Yes. Well, he turned it the television that we have now is a direct link to Rupert Murdoch and the way that he started creating television and news. The tabloids. He started having like tabloid like newspapers. He started having
Uh,
like unconventional news, unconventional
Oh,
shows.
so he
Like,
he pretty much sold stories, made it sensational,
yes,
so that you will go into it and act. You want to know something crazy? I just looked up who created the first television, and it was on the fly. Didn't even know I was gonna need that info.
okay, okay. Who was that?
Forgot the first name, but his last name is Farnsworth.
Farnsworth Benton? No, I was
Farnsworth,
just
yeah.
joking.
It was created in what is it? Early 1900s, early 1900s, I think.
Okay.
Yep.
So you got shows like In Living Color. They got their start with
Right.
Fox. You got Cops that started with, which is something unconventional. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He had a whole list of shows, man. I think Family Guy and all the other stuff started on Fox. You know what I mean? But he had a different, unconventional way of creating stories, even in his newspaper. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I mean, it's a really good. I don't want to give up too much of it, but if you look at, I think it's called the Murdochs, and um, he has family. He has three children. He has a daughter and two sons, and even I don't know, even to this day, he never named an heir to the business, but he has them all working in the business. But neither one of them knows who's going to take over for that dad. And so, but I'm telling you, man, it's a really good look. You know what I mean? Watch it's on Netflix, man. I think it's called The Murdochs. Let me look that up too. But before, man, I wasn't even intending on going this route. You know what I mean? So that's why it might seem like this is all coming out, a little bit unprepared. But
Yeah.
unconventional news. And that's the news that we pretty much what I'm saying. That's the news that we have today. Sensationalized news. If you ever look at our news, it's to the degree that everything is, you know, dire. Everything is, you know, there's a
Yeah.
killer on the loose. You need to know what
So,
you need to do to protect yourself. Coming
yeah.
later tonight. This,
Life on Life on Mars, and they
yeah,
found germs
yeah, yeah,
there, and they put a little green alien on the front of the screen or on the front of the paper. Life on Mars, germs, like nah, or what they call them, microbes.
yeah.
It's like, yeah, they sensationalize it to get you to read. I mean, I'm not gonna cap though. I'm a bit on board with it, because if it's gonna draw you in to get you to read, something that's, like the newspaper isn't no the average newspaper. What is it like? It's not on like no sixth grade level. I feel like the average newspaper it's got to be at least high school level. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
11th, 12th grade levels of reading. So yeah, I mean, if it's gonna get you,
My bad. It's not on Netflix. It's on HBO Max.
oh, so we got to pay money to watch it.
Yeah, yeah,
Mm.
yeah. Well, man, look, my kids got every streaming in the world. They got HBO Max. They got uh what's that? Netflix. They got the Disney Plus. They got
Hulu.
they ain't got Hulu. That's the only thing we ain't got Hulu and a few of them. But it's called The Murdochs, and it's a series. It's a series. Yeah, it's like it's 6 episodes, and as a matter of fact, he had a bunch of news publications in New York.
Mhm.
It wasn't the New York Times, but it's another popular one. But he has so many different news publications that when he wanted to create the Fox network, a TV network that was uh, broadcast over the nation, they had the president. I think it was George Bush, or it might have been no, it wasn't George. It might have been George Bush or Bill Clinton.
What year?
Let me see. It might have been George Bush that they had to make a special exception for him, and you had to be a U.S. citizen. So he had to get his citizenship, and they had to make a special exception for him through the FCC for him to have a majority ownership in a newspaper and a major network television company. And they made that exception for him. Yeah, but he is a direct link to the news that we have today, which and even the TV we have today of um reality TV.
Yeah.
If you look at Maury, who he
Which is
was, if you look at the show Maury, everybody loves it. It sensationalizes so much.
yeah.
You know, everybody know I'm not the father. The man from the break dance up there. The woman gonna get up, run to the back of the, you know what I'm saying? You know what's gonna happen, but but you you watch it because it's such an overstatement.
Yeah. Steve gonna throw the chair.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. They gonna yeah, they gonna it's and everything is based off of it. It's based off of his form of reporting, even in his newspapers. You know what I mean? He would have a I think it was called it was on page 6. It was called something. You know, but if you watch it, man, if you can get HBO Max, it is very, very good, man. And that's what we have to deal with today.
Yeah, I think, and like I said, and I don't know, I was a little satirical when I said, if it's gonna get people to read, I'm okay with it, but at the same time, I don't know. I think that that type of sensationalism is it's a bit manipulative, it's a bit, because it to me it becomes less about the news and less about the information and more about the views, right? Or more about the numbers. Like the road to hell is paved with good intentions. I'd argue, like I said, I haven't seen the documentary. I don't know, but I'd argue if it even started out that way, sensationalism could be a pretty divisive tool. Like part of the government's function is to kind of nullify that. God forbid if a whole county broke out into like sensationalism. Like the whole War of the Worlds. On the radio, and they were talking
Right.
about an alien invasion. That's pretty much like, in all honesty, I'll tell you what that's like. That's like, like us watching the TV. And, about the time everybody comes home, watch TV, and as they watching the TV, oh, we got breaking news. And they have footage. Let's say it's not artificial intelligence, augmented reality footage of like an alien invasion, and we're all looking at it.
Right.
You feel me? It's like, we're going crazy. It's like, but part of that, the control of sensationalism, I feel like that's part of the government's job, right? It's in their name. They want to govern your mental,
Right.
call you
Right.
think a certain way. You feel me?
Yeah. You know, and that like when you said, like how you said, we they know what time and they have the analytics of who's
Yeah,
watching, what
yeah,
they're watching, what time they're watching, the demographics of man, woman, age, sex, gender, or backgrounds, social. They have all those, so they know what to put on, when to put it on, and how to form it. Just take a look
yeah.
at how. Let's go to the vaccine.
Right.
Let's go to COVID because this is still fresh. How do
Yeah,
they get everybody to get on board for the most part um the masses? The what's the word that you use? The critical mass
yeah.
for the critical mass to get on board with taking the vaccine or wearing masks and so on and so forth. When now the 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 theorists, what I mean, have come out to be right when they were saying, look, it's not that you shouldn't take the virus, the vaccine because it's not going to do anything for you. It doesn't prevent it, and so on and so forth. But now they're coming out and saying, look, the shot does not prevent C-19 and so on and so forth. But they sensationalized, they overhyped it. They said that they had mass graves that they had to dig in New York City
Yeah.
and all these different things, and people was dying left and right. And
But at the same time, though, for something like COVID, though, respectfully, you feel me? I think that it's a novel virus. It's a novel coronavirus. So, I guess they looked at it like, hey, look, if we overinflate it, it may save lives, as opposed to, underinflating it and having people, I'd rather have people say, hey, it's a conspiracy theory and, it really wasn't as bad as it was, as opposed to having people saying, you know, they told us it wasn't going to be that bad, but my whole family died. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right. But I understand that. I understand that.
but they
But
did. Now I will admit they did sensationalize COVID with these lockdowns and
right,
you got to go in the store this way and come out that way, and it's like the virus don't know what these arrows on the floor of Walmart are. You know what I'm saying?
right,
They sensationalize it to that point, and like you said, to maybe the point, maybe the purpose was for control or govern your mental. Like,
right, right.
I
And
don't know. It's
we have to be careful with that. You know what I'm saying? We have to look at
yeah,
see what's being overhyped, what's being exaggerated. You know what I mean? And how do we tell that on such a grand scale, such as the whole pandemic? How can we
yeah,
tell that? You know what I mean? Who do we listen to? You know what I mean? It's so many different degrees of this thing that we have to be aware of. That and pretty much everything is sensationalized. You look at
yeah.
sports. Anytime, let's say LeBron James and Tom Brady, any kind of stat that they like, LeBron is the only player to score 13 points in 13 games wearing the LeBron James 13s.
Yeah,
And you
yeah,
know what I'm saying? It's like, God, dog, like you finding these very acute stats and they do it all around in every
hey,
sport with
you
any
so right.
superstar. It's like, God, dog, man.
Hey, it'll be like Steph Curry is the only player to shoot 14 hold on a second, to shoot 14 3-pointers in the first quarter or in the first half and make 8, or what I
Yeah,
mean?
it's like,
Ah,
are we so hard off on stats and accolades that we got to create? Like they have departments just to
damn,
look up these stats, just to come up with these stats, and it's like that's the most minuscule thing ever. Like, come on, man. We understand greatness, but like you exaggerating, and that's how. I don't know if you watch sports radio or sports TV at all.
hmm,
These people, certain programs talk about LeBron James and the Lakers every single day. Every day. They won't cover any other stories. They'll cover the Lakers and LeBron James every day.
wow.
Every they got to cover it every single day.
Maybe he is the GOAT.
They got to cover Tom Brady every single day. That's kind of like when kind of switching gears a little bit. Let's take Donald Trump. They
Yeah,
sensationalized Donald Trump. CNN, their numbers plummeted after Donald Trump was not president anymore because all they
I mean,
talked about was Donald Trump.
it's a right wing organization, no?
No, CNN is left wing. Fox is right.
Really?
Yes, but they would talk about Trump in a negative aspect. Like he couldn't do nothing right. He was the worst president in the world. You know the rhetoric that you heard from
Yeah,
Donald
yeah,
Trump.
yeah,
Some of it, uh, rightly true. But it's like, man, you won't even get a man the props that he deserved as the president for some of the things he did do.
yeah,
That's Trevor Noah, CNN, even Fox sensationalized things. But
yeah.
CNN, they had a pay a payment app that you pay, to get exclusive content. Man, that thing lost millions upon millions because who's going to pay for it? Like people ain't even watching regular CNN. Who going to
Yeah.
pay to watch it? You know what I mean? Because they sensationalized everything and they didn't have any newsworthy stories. It was just, what is Donald Trump doing
Bro,
wrong?
but Peacock, I want to ask you something. You ain't see how, like, literally life is becoming a like microtransactions.
Right,
Like, you get on a video game and you don't get to win. You know, you used to be able to beat enough people and win the character.
right,
Now you
right.
got to pay for all like
I'm
you
gonna tell you
like
something. Go
yeah,
ahead.
it's crazy. No, I'm just saying it's crazy that you even brought that up because it's like, bruh, now I have to pay, like, even with like I've been wanting to watch What Is a Woman for the longest, and it's like, oh, you gotta subscribe to, what is it, the daily, what is it, the budget daily, I don't even know, daily something.
Okay.
And I'm like, bruh, like, I got to subscribe to everything, and I hate the subscription because what if I just want to watch this one thing? No,
And
I
what you
gotta
do is you
subscribe.
watch it during the trial period, and then you
And
take
then
it up.
forget. That's
Yeah.
all. It just upsets me though, because it's like our whole life has become, like Dave Chappelle said it in one of his skits, man. Our whole life has become one big ad.
Yeah.
Like, we get ads upon ads, and we living in the real world. I'm getting ads on my phone about stuff we talking about. Shoot,
Right.
that's a form of sensationalization.
Right. Man, I'm gonna tell you though. I understand the subscription to, say, like, to watch What Is a Woman, because that is an independent artwork or independent piece
It
of news or
it is.
whatever, or documentary. So I
Yeah,
can understand the person who is detached from the system, that they're trying to generate funds to continue to do the work and to
Ben
support the work that's
Shapiro,
already been done. Right. Well, even he's with the guy who made it.
Matt
The guy
White.
who made it. Yeah.
Yeah,
So I can understand that, but like you were saying with the video games, I played 2K, right, and I've been playing 2K since NBA 2K since 2K17
I heard
every
that
year.
mug trash.
Right, but no, the
That
gameplay is
22.
actually really good this year. And
I heard the NBA is supposed to be better though.
every other year, I've spent 50, at least 50, 100, $200 just to build up my player, right? But this year, I refused to do it. I got the game. I said, I'm just gonna grind and play the game and accumulate my VC so I can build my guy up. And I did it this year. And it was like, in the price, the reason I did it was because the prices was, what would cost me $50 to do would cost me over $200 to do. So I said, nah, they ain't getting none of my money now. I bought the game. I'm just gonna grind and work my player up. And that's what I did. It took a little bit longer, but we're in this micro, like you said, this micro transaction world. What I mean? And that's where they're trying to push us to make us to make it like, this is the biggest thing that you need to do. You need to put your money into it now so that you can get
Right.
it now. You need to subscribe to this now, so you know what I mean, so you could be ahead of the curve. Even with,
Sensationalizing the metaverse.
yeah, like, okay, you're more so into the NFT and
Yeah,
crypto world. um I've never dove into it because I see it as sensationalism to a degree.
really.
I see a lot
Well,
of it being sensationalized.
that's because Peacock, you probably just like really like, I mean, just giving it a go. You probably just saw it, like, or just really like started paying attention to it probably like maybe as recent as a year.
A year or two.
And it's been around longer than that. Like, Bitcoin is very, like, it's pretty old when it first jumped on the scene. And excuse me, that's just crypto, you know. Now if we talk about stocks, them been around for as long as Wall Street,
Right.
as long as, but at the same time, uh I think that the sensationalization or sensationalism, there we go. I don't know why I'm tripping over this word. I keep wanting to say sensational, but the where it gets sensational is, you know, now you get these apps where you don't need a broker. You know, the app is the broker, and
Right.
you're paying that app as if it was your broker. You know, you pay it up front, up top, and or you know, and you go through a bunch of policies and agreements. So now the average person could trade. So now what you get is, oh man, I put in X amount of dollars into this and I'm watching it and they say it's supposed to blow. You know, you get average people talking about freaking Shiba coin and what was the other Doge, talking about
Right.
Doge coin and all this other stuff. It's like, you know, yeah, I agree. Like it was sensationalized to a certain extent. Like, you know, you got normal people, like even me myself. I don't know much about it. That's why I don't go on Facebook and talk about, oh yeah, they're up there. Sheba is actually down 174%. Like, no, I'm not gonna sensationalize it and cause somebody to crash out and, you know, put their whole life's earnings into one thing.
Right.
Even even though Sheba is doing good right now, as far as like in the grand scheme of things, you know, they're supposed to release Shibarium, and in a year, they were actually saying that in a year, a $687, close to $700, investment could return a million in a year. So,
Right. Right.
but
Well,
that's not me
the reason
sensationalizing it. I'm
the
just
reason why I see it as sensationalism or overhyped or exaggerated is because um it's the opposite of that is something that has been tried and true.
yeah.
All right. And these things, and there isn't much uh outside of making money, there isn't much or anything of value to the crypto. What is the value outside of making money?
Well, you mean as far as like what is it backed by?
Not even that, but like, what's the value of me having it? Like, okay, like we could take the value of me having, fiat money.
Yeah.
I see the value in that. I can do something with that. I can buy
Oh,
a multitude of different goods with that fiat money. Now with
yeah.
crypto, it's all, and I know more people are adopting and accepting, crypto, but right at this moment, there isn't much that I can do with it. I'm just holding. I'm just gaining money.
Well, you will be able to do a lot more with crypto. You know why?
Why is that?
First off, they have crypto ATM machines. Secondly, you can convert like whatever crypto you have. You know, like if you know Ethereum or you know Doge, Bitcoin, you can convert it to US dollar in crypto, and it's stable. The dollar is $1. It's
Okay.
very stable.
Okay.
And I think that that's because they're starting to I think that countries are probably starting to, you know, widely accept crypto. Like I believe that, just me personally, I believe that that's the next step in currency.
Right. Right.
Like I went to a place in Virginia, you know, and they told me I couldn't even use cash, like at all. So
Yeah. I mean, I know. Since the pandemic, that a lot of people are, or even during the pandemic, a lot of people wasn't accepting cash. Because
yeah,
they felt like the cash could carry the germs and the virus and this, that, and the third, and there's a coin shortage and so on and so forth. I just don't,
it is.
because Bitcoin I looked it up, 2009 when it first started, which is old compared to other crypto, but it's fairly new compared to all other forms of money.
But see, and I agree with you on that. But in my opinion, it doesn't matter if if like, and I definitely get what you're saying, because if you got $1 million in seed, you're gonna have to, like, $1 million, not like shares, but
Right.
$1 million worth. You're gonna have to find a way to uh uh, uh what's
Liquidated.
the word? It's translate. Is it called when you transition the currency, change the currency? I think it's
I'm
called
not sure.
translate.
But I
It's
understand
like
what you're saying.
you're gonna have to translate that over into
Exchange.
exchange. You're gonna have to exchange it to something that's usable, right?
Right.
And let's say for instance, if Ferrari's like, hey, we accept crypto. Okay, cool. I'll buy it. Or Shiba. Okay, cool. Boom. I'll buy a Ferrari with Shiba. But then when the Ferrari gets to my house, I got to sell the Ferrari to somebody for money, for like
Right.
tangible
Like a
money.
form of bartering.
But in my opinion, fiat money ain't backed by nothing either. So it's like,
Right.
sure, you took me out one step, like I lost the step by using crypto, but at the same time, it's really not backed by anything either.
But isn't it backed by the citizens of the country? Like, especially like talking about the dollar.
Okay, well, yeah, yeah, it's agreed on, and that's the thing with crypto. Eventually, see, it's fairly new. Eventually, it's going to be agreed on, like everywhere. I tell you this. Um, what's the guy's name? Mark Zuckerberg. I think they
Mark
released.
Zuckerberg, man. Come on, man. Come on, Mark Zuckerberg.
I think that Mark Zuck, he actually released the crypto. I think it's called the Libra, and it's
Okay.
like, once I saw that, I'm like, it's gonna catch on eventually. Like, sure, in the beginning, it's sensationalism. You got a bunch of people that think that they're gurus just because they invested in like a penny, less than a penny, crypto, and woke up next week and it jumped up to 5 cent, and they made a lot of money. You get me? But
Right.
yeah,
But
I think that in the beginning it was over sensationalism.
is it which it is beneficial if it does hit.
If it
Like if
does,
but see to get out ahead of it, but I wouldn't knock a person that has skepticism and would bypass some of those benefits of getting in before a lot of other people, because if it hits, it's going to be it's still going to be benefits to getting into it, but not as much as someone that was in it at first.
I don't think so. And I don't think so. I tell you why. Because you don't know when it's going to plateau.
Right.
So,
But if it's what I'm saying is if it's a generally accepted form of currency, I still can get in and get and reap the benefits of having this currency.
well, I mean, I mean, in theory, but like if I purchase this crypto at less than a penny and it jumps up to $1,
Right. You're
like,
multimillionaire.
multimillionaire, bro, instantly, literally instantly. But if you get in when it's at $1, you say, look, I'm just gonna buy in when it's $1, right? If it goes up another dollar, I'll at least get half of,
Right.
my investment. It doesn't go up anymore. It
Right.
starts to drop, and you've already invested in at $1 and it's dropping. So now what are you gonna? You're afraid. You're like, no, it might go up again, but you're afraid that you might lose your investment. So that's the danger of it.
Right. But when you invest, it's I mean you have short term investments, but anything you invest for the long term, and you only invest what you're willing to lose, which will take us back to the conversations we've had in the past few months about before we get into this new thing, why don't you invest in yourself through,
Life
insurance,
insurance.
life insurance? You know what I mean? Which, I've been talking to Donnell Nunn, brother Nunn, and he ran some numbers to me and you know, something that he broke it like even more like personally broke it down for me. And I was like, that makes sense. And I'm still looking to make a decision, and I talk to my wife and do other things. But that sensationalism of crypto compared to the tried and true and proven method of life insurance, or even the accepted fiat money. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because
Yeah.
I can still jump into crypto and then purchase things. Just like, I didn't invest in, and there was no money invested in me through the fiat money that we have, but
Right.
yet I still can go get some and still get the benefits of it. Bought a house.
Yeah.
Maybe not with all cash, but you know, cash was used for the down payment. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Bought cars. Cars may have got it with credit, but I'm paying off that credit with the money that I accumulate. You know what I mean? So that's the part of it that I see, which is kind of sensationalized, because you know I have another, generally I can jump in and still get the benefits. Maybe not become a millionaire, billionaire, whatever, but still can jump in and still use that currency as I go, and not as an investment, so to speak.
Yeah.
But I
You
understand.
just gonna you just gonna use the currency with I guess it'll still be on that unstable market though.
Yeah, I don't want to. I don't. That's
Cause,
the
'cause-
thing. See, crypto is an investment. You know what I mean?
but it's still the price for these things is still gonna fluctuate based on the usage or the yeah, it's every I guess I want to say it's everyday usage, it's burn rate or what like if people agree on using this thing, you feel me?
Right.
But like I said, you're gonna have crypto like I believe I read a paper or article that said every country was looking to have its own crypto, and maybe I want to say a week, probably about 2 3 weeks after I read that, I saw the U.S. dollar crypto pop up,
Right.
and it's stable. Like whatever a dollar is worth, it's a dollar. Like it's stable, but in my opinion, now I don't want to, I don't want to sound over sensationalized when I say this, but in my opinion, I believe that we're all just going to go move to one stable currency, and it's going to be consistent across all countries.
Right. Right.
So
I mean, I don't think them centralized banks gonna let that go uncentralized for too long.
I mean, they're gonna have to answer to some heavy hitters.
Right. Or
I
they
mean,
or
they
or
better
are
be
not allowed to
something
go
like
through.
they did with Nagasaki, Fukushima.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I just see some parts of it being sensationalized. You know what I mean? And that's what we have to do with you know, let's take the big topic of society,
Yeah,
gender and sexuality.
yeah,
You know what I mean? These things are not you know uh unbeknownst to a lot of people, these things aren't new.
they're not.
These are constructs that have been going on for a long time, but now I think they've come to the forefront in the form of exaggeration
Yeah,
uh, and sensation. You got me messing up. Sensationalism and all
yeah,
these different. They have been pushed to the forefront of our society.
yeah.
You know what I mean? When times passed, it wasn't so. It wasn't the popular thing. It wasn't the norm or the thing that to, actually, to tell you the truth, is still not accepted. That's why the push is so hard.
I don't even think I don't, and I agree with you on that too. I don't even think that it's not accepted though. I think that well, I won't say that it's not accepted as much as it was back then.
Right.
I think that it's like people lead with it, you know?
Right.
Like you don't see me leading with, oh, I'm black. Like
Right.
I don't lead with that. Like I think people lead with it. And it's like telling somebody, oh, my arm is like you're in a fight and you're like, hey, don't hit me, my arm is broken. It's like you're leading with that. Like now what's gonna happen? I'm gonna hit your arm, like, you know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? And um, honestly, you're fighting against a concept that's age old. You know, the feminine and masculine principle. Like, you don't like. In my opinion, I don't think that. I don't know. I don't think that that's a good thing to do for anybody. Like anybody, it's a principle that's old. It's in everything. You got feminine, you got female and male nuts and bolts. You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
yeah,
Plugs.
it's in everything. You got female and male charger pieces that go to the wall. It's in everything, bro.
Right, right, right. You're absolutely right. And male don't go together in none of those instances. And even some people might try to point to the animal kingdom where you have these different um uh, ways of, in some parts of the animal kingdom you have the woman and the man,
Yeah,
two, you have intermingling of the male and the female, and you got the lion that the woman takes charge in the hunting, and you
hmm
have the tiger that is, we can't take the animal kingdom and compare them to us because we're a whole different species, and we can't take that and make a point for heterosexuality, and we can't and other people can't take that and make a point for homosexuality, because those are different species and different ways of being and different ways of living, and they have their reasons of having a monarchy,
yeah,
or whatever it is that it may be. You know what
yeah.
I
They're
mean?
not thinking. Like it's all instinctual. Like they're not even thinking about. Like we're we're overthinking it even by trying to say, hey, well, look at the animal kingdom. It's like they're not even thinking. Like they're just literally acting by instincts.
Right, right,
Um, the sheer numbers alone, though, concerning the amount of people who are actually within that community would tell you that, respectfully, and I mean this respectfully, it's a privation. Like it's not the if you say you don't believe in God, cool, but you can't expect me to believe that you're placed a man's brain within a female body or vice
right,
versa.
right,
Like you have to sensationalize this stance and propagate it, by force. By
right,
force. In some cases, you know, and you have to over sensationalize that thing to make this thing get any traction.
right, right. And it's, and people will make this point. It's not even that you're binary, non-binary, cis, whatever the terms and names you want to come up with, the pronouns. It's not even that you're that. It's that you're trying to force that thing to on me to be accepted.
Yeah,
But if I go just stand on the corner and say, "Hey, repent, for the kingdom of God is at hand," Jesus coming back soon, people will have a problem with me because they're saying that I'm forcing my religion on them. When I'm not forcing you to, I'm just telling you. But
yeah,
from the others' perspective, you're telling me that I have to accept this way of
yeah,
life. I have to accept you as this. Why do I even have to know that that's the way that you operate? When
right.
we're not in a community together, we're not in a daily conversation, dialogue together. We're not in any type of relationship with one another. You know what I mean? We're not intimate on any type of level.
Yeah,
Socially, economically, religiously. If we are and we get to know each other, and that just so happens to come up, then we can have a dialogue about it. But for you to tell me that this is me and you have to accept this and this is how you have to address me, this what happens to my what happens to my beliefs, what happens to my perspective. You know what I mean? You're going to override my perspective, you're going to sensationalize this thing, and you're going to take this to the highest courts of the land for this to be you know what I mean, like, for what? You know what I mean? When we look back over all of these eons, all of this time, that human race, because it's all one race, the human race has accepted the male and the female. Like you said, this is in all aspects of our lives. You know
And
what I
it's not
mean?
even just human. It's spiritual.
Yes.
I'm not even kidding you. Like it's in every single, and then people will try and insert Aphrodite, or it's like, well, just or people who are unisex.
Right.
They
Hermaphrodites.
Yeah, they don't even make up.
They're outliers.
They don't even make up their non sequiturs. They don't even make up 1%. And it's like, even in them, um I still trust biology. Biology still leans one way or another, regardless of how they feel. I
Right.
think that now this is one thing that I know is sensationalized in this time and day. They call it secular humanism. We always put the way people feel, or the feelings of mankind,
Uh huh.
over moral judgment, or over moral decision. And I believe, in my opinion, I believe like that is going to be the detriment of us. Like that's going to be to the detriment of us. Human beings largely survived because we were utilitarian. Hey, look, I understand that your son was a good man. I understand that your son he went to church every Sunday, XYZ, but he also killed 14 people. So we got
Right.
we got to do what we need to do, you know. And I think that we over sensationalize. Oh, well, if it's not hurting anybody, love is love. It's not. It's not an issue. It's not an issue. Go and live your life. Mind your own business. It's like we placed the the what's the ancillary lives of other people over the collective, and I don't think that that's right. That's like me saying, well, look, since I went through trauma personally, I expect the government to compensate me, Daryl, DJ Sales, like put me over all these other people, and then y'all could go and deal with them individually. Like,
Right.
that's not gonna, our government, our society can't sustain that type of worldview, that type of paradigm. We can't do it.
Right. Right. I agree. It's so much that is sensationalized, man. Even the whole argument of abortion and all that stuff. They want to point out, they hit these people hit these different check marks. Okay, I'm gonna hit them with this, and then I'm hitting with this. What about rape? Then what about incest? What
Right,
about this?
right,
What about
right.
And then, like, once you have an argument for it and you show that these are such a mind, like you said, outliers of the situation, then I should have a choice. I should have a right. You know what I mean? Like Bill Burr. You know Bill Burr?
Bill Burr, yes.
He was the white guy off of Chappelle Show, the racial drama. He has this joke, all right, in
Yep,
one of his new stand
comedian.
up, all right, and he says, "Look, people say, well, it's not a baby." He says, "Well, if I take eggs and milk and flour and I put it all together and mix it up and I put it in the oven for 10 minutes, and
I
then
already know.
somebody," he said, "You take it out and you throw it across the room and say, 'Man, what you do on my cake?'" You say, "Man, it wasn't a cake yet." He said, "Well, if you would have left it in there for another hour or 30 minutes or whatever, it would have been a cake." If you would have left that, whatever it is, what you say it was in that womb, guess what it would have been? A baby, a human being, a life.
Nothing that is dead grows.
Exactly.
Things that are living grow.
Exactly. Well, I should have a choice to do. Yeah, and I should have a choice to put you in jail for murder. You know what I mean? Like that should be, you know, health reasons. Another thing. Like you can deal with those things case by case basis, not just do a whole clean sweep of all right. This is this and that. You know what I mean? Case by case basis. People have an understanding of you have an atopic pregnancy and things of that. So you know what I mean. But for you to just want to because you're not in a financial, secure place, or you know what I
Yeah,
mean, it's
you
from
doing
someone
like
that
birth control.
yeah, like there's other steps that could have been taken before that. You know what I
And
mean?
people over sensationalize the overturning of or they sensationalize the overturning of Roe v. Wade.
Right,
Oh, now women are gonna die. All they did, hey, all they did was say, look, we don't want the federal government to get involved with this. We're gonna kick it back to the states. Which should
exactly.
have been a win, which should have been a win for y'all. You know why I want to win to a lot of the dreamers who the young people who were getting these abortions like it was hotcakes?
They don't vote.
Because they weren't got this they weren't voting. You ain't even vote the people in you ain't even you ain't vote the people in power. You done voted in straight Republicans and they done turned your blue state red
Yep.
and now you can't even get an abortion.
You're right. You're right.
And you would actually want it that way because you're able to connect with people who live there. You own municipals,
Right.
county leaders, city commissioners.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's what we are just talking about. I'm like, man, we like honestly, Peacock, God put this on my heart. I don't know if you got convicted, but I have. The Lord said, man, you need to sit down and at least know who your city officials are. Who are the commissioners?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we can't sit here and say, hey, we want to do the work of the Lord, and one of the works of the prophet was to tear down.
Right.
What are we tearing down? What did prophets always tear down? What did Jesus tear down? It's systems.
Right.
Not saying that we need to. Nah, I'm not preaching on what's it
Anarchy.
called? Dominion theology.
Right.
We need to take back. No, 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 no. I'm not. But we do need to know. Hey, look, know those who labor among you, because
Right.
they claim to be Christians too. So we finna check it out.
I mean, even it's just knowing the gatekeepers. If you look to do something in your city, in your state, you need to know the people to get in contact with
Right.
to open up the doors for you to do that, because there is a chain of command. Even as men of God, there's still people on earth that we have to
Of course.
adhere to. You got to
Of
adhere to
course.
your boss. You got to adhere to your parents. You got to adhere to anybody there's still people over us in this world. You know what I mean? So it's good to know those people that have the keys to allow you to do things, because you can have an outreach and they come shut that thing down if you don't have the proper paperwork done.
Right. Right.
You know what I mean? And sometimes if you do the proper paperwork, they still can say no. We don't won't allow it. No. But you know what I mean? If you have a
We're gonna pray
relationship,
for favor.
what's that?
I say we're gonna pray for favor.
Yeah, we're gonna pray for nah, we need to pray for understanding how to go down there and do the proper paperwork.
We just gonna bust out the tent and the speakerphone, and we just gonna pray for favor. And then somebody come there talking about they trying to shut us down. We gonna pray against the devil because it's the devil.
Listen, we're not biased, man. We ain't biased. We keeping it real. We keeping it real, man. That's how it go. That's how people do.
Lord have
That's
mercy.
have mercy, Lord. That's the truth, man. I couldn't have said no better, man. Instead of going up there and just doing the paperwork, man. It ain't that deep.
Right.
It ain't that deep. Like one thing that the prophet said, man. Look, I don't prophesy about houses and cars and money. Because I believe if you do what you're supposed to do, you're gonna receive those things anyway.
That's facts.
You get up and go to work, guess what? You're gonna have money. You know what I'm saying? If you pay your bills on time, you're gonna have good credit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We ain't gotta pray for these. We gotta move beyond. And that's another thing. In the church, all these different doctrines are sensationalized. People. One thing that grieves me, and don't get me wrong, we all been there, and some people are still there. That you are thanking God for paying your bills on time. Or not even that, not even paying your bills on time. You thanking God for making a way out of no way when I didn't. My bills was more than my money, and God, you made a way. 30 years, and you still thanking God for making a way because your bills is more than like okay. When you learning, okay, God gives you grace and He makes a way. Somebody come through and drop something on you to help you through your hard times. But at some point, we got to move past not being able to budget
Right. Your bills shouldn't be more than your money.
at all. At some
And
point, you got to grow over that.
but Peacock, you going into something deep too. Because we have to realize we over sensationalize the devil. We over sensationalize demons.
Come on, man.
We need to realize I've learned I ain't listen, I gave my life to Christ at 17. That
Mm-hmm.
means I went through puberty, or well, I went through the hormonal stage, and I went through teen angst, anger, all
Mm-hmm.
these things. And I've learned over the years that our biggest enemy really ain't the devil. It's us. It's us. But we over sensationalize the devil because we got Adam in us. It wasn't me, God. It was the wife, and
That's that woman you gave me.
it wasn't me, God. It was the devil. You see where it eventually led right back to.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's really we over sensationalize that dude. It's really us. And a lot of times, it don't be no generational curses over your life. It be generational disobedience.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yep.
And what that Spike Lee movie called? Do the right thing. We got to learn how to do the right thing
Yeah.
and stop overhyping a situation.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? What's the word that says there's nothing that has happened to you uncommon, paraphrasing.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. You've never there isn't a man. Lord, I'm forgetting it. You have not been tried by I don't even remember it
There's
exactly.
nothing uncommon to we know what the scriptures say. But let me get it, man. Let me get it just for those, sticklers. No
Oh yeah, we could do
temptation,
that.
huh?
I said, oh yeah, we could do that. We can we can also bring up the fact that Jesus Christ was tried in all manner of sin,
Yes. There
right?
hath no temptation taken you, but such as is common to man. But God is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted above that ye are able, but will with the temptation always make a way to escape, that ye may be able to bear it. 1 Corinthians 10:13. Yes, and Jesus was tempted.
Amen. In all manners of sin,
Yes, which
and that's what made him the high priest, able to bear our infirmities.
yes, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, the pride of life. That don't mean that he had some gay person rubbing up on him trying to holler at him. It just means
So
that he
Jesus,
had.
so gay people face a sin. I mean, they attempted with a sin that Jesus wasn't tempted with.
No, that's the lust of the flesh. It all comes to those three
Oh,
categories.
okay, I got you. I got you tenfold, tenfold,
Yeah,
tenfold,
it's all in those.
tenfold. And you're right. You're right, because the Bible says a man is only tempted when he's led out by his own lust.
Yes, sir. Lust of the
You're
flesh,
right.
the lust of the flesh, lust of the flesh, the pride of life, lust
The
of
lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride
eyes,
of
and the
life.
pride of life. Yes, sir.
So that's the flesh, the world, and the devil.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We got to deal with like there's nothing uncommon. So if
Right.
you're dealing with something that you have to deal with your flesh, Jesus had to deal with the flesh. And it's all right there when he was led into the, after he fasted, he was
Right,
led into the wilderness to
right,
be tempted.
right,
All
right.
three of those, when he says, look, turn these stones into bread, that's the lust of the flesh. When he says, look, serve me, that's the pride of life. And when he says, look, throw yourself down, no, he says, serve me, and I'll give you all the kingdoms. That's the lust of the eyes. And when he says, throw yourself down, that's the pride of life.
Right,
So all three of those, and he still dealt with other things, throughout his ministry. But
right.
we sensationalize these things that we're going. Have you ever been through something so horrible? Like you felt like when you was in the midst of that thing, like boy, you ain't gonna make it out. But hindsight, you look back, you're like, man, that wasn't even that bad. That wasn't, that wasn't even that bad, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I've been there. But now what I do now is I take those experiences that I went through and say, well, I made it through that. And it really wasn't that bad. It was just I was in the midst of the storm. I was in the center of the storm. But now
yeah,
that I made it out the storm, I made it out of that storm. I can, what I'm saying? I take those as testimonies to make it through whatever it is that I'm going through, I will go through. You know what I mean? Instead of woe is me, it's all bad, pity party. You know what I mean? People sensationalize their troubles
yeah,
and problems.
yeah.
Sensationalism is all around us, man. You know, take the new and improved tool or gadget. How is it new and improved?
This man diggy,
How is it
man.
new and improved, man? Like marketing is sensationalism.
It is.
Look at
It is.
this new phone. Like I'm so tired of buying other phones. New phones every year, 2 years.
Hey man, look, I'm tired of getting lied to by Elon Musk. I mean by I said Elon. By I'm tired of getting lied to by Samsung also.
Yeah, man. Even though I don't buy Samsungs, I got like a tablet Samsung, but I buy like offshoot Androids. Like I got the Pixel now. I got, I did a lot of LGs, things of that sort. You froze up on me, DJ. You got a phone call? But yeah, even the cell phones, I'm so tired of buying a new phone every 2 years, man. You got to get this one. This is the new. Uh, you know, it's just 1 year difference, man. They got everything plus one little small feature that you ain't even paying attention to. You know what I mean? So we gotta make sure that we look at how it used to be or how it's always been. You know what I mean? They got us hooked on these cell phones, but before I remember, I didn't used to have a cell phone. I just had that house phone, and if you called me on the house phone and I wasn't there, then I wasn't there. You know what I mean? If you we had beepers, we had different things, and even when we did first get the cell phone was the cell phone. It those old Nokias, man, them things last forever. You can run them over, you can throw them on the ground, and some of them you can, put in water or whatever. They had the church, the Nextels that they can go on water and all this other stuff, man. But now you get a phone, man, and that they got glass backs. This one right here is a hole right. I gotta get this fixed tomorrow, but there's a hole in the glass back, to where you putting insurance on it and spending hundreds of dollars. These things cost over thousands of dollars, man. Some of them, because they say you gotta have it. Now we paying. Look at that. We paying over $1,000 for a cell phone when $1,000 can go. It's a lot of money for certain things and for certain people. But we spend over $1,000, though it may be over 2 years. Think about it, man. In 10 years, you'll have about 5 phones over $1,000. That's $5,000 that you could use to invest. You can use to buy something. You can use to save. You can use to, for a lot of things. But yet we still being pushed to buy this new gadget. That's in a year and a half or 2 years. Some people buy phones every 6 months. But you know, sensationalism, um, exaggeration, grandizing, you know, it's all part of our culture now, from the news that we have to the religious doctrines and to the sports to all the other things that we've talked about to gender to sexuality and all these different societal uh, things that are pushed upon us. We have to take a look at them and take a look at how it used to be for the ones that can remember the change before the change. Now, some people are born into the sensationalism, and they think that this is just the way that everything goes. I remember I was at one of my old jobs, previous employer, and I worked there during the quote good old days unquote, and the good old days was, I mean, everything was smooth. And then they started to implement change into the workforce, into the workplace. And me and a handful of other people that were from the good old days began to despise and dislike the job because it got a lot more strict. They got a lot more rules and regulations started to come through. And things started to change and it started to affect our money. And you know, we can remember the good old days. And though the good old days was never coming back, we still held on to them. And we understood the difference between the good old days and this new form of management that we were experiencing. And we got to understand, and I say that as a analogy to when these new things and new gadgets and new concepts of society start to come back into play, that we have to remember how it was before to know that, this is sensationalism. And, you know, we have to understand that we don't have to just jump on board with these new things, with the new wave. That it's okay to hold on to the analog way of thinking in the analog days before everything went digital. Back when you had a tape player, and back when you had a Walkman, back when you had a some people 8 track, some people the record player, vinyl and things of that sort, and not just go with the new wave and hold on to some of the old ways because the old ways were tried and true and they didn't let us down. And convenience has been sensationalism, and that's what gets us to jump on board because of convenience. But convenience isn't always good, But that's another subject for another day. We may. Oh, there go DJ. He coming back. All right, man. I was getting ready to close, my brother. Hold on. Oh, yeah. I was getting ready to close, but I was talking about hanging on to the analog days. And I gave the analogy of me at one of my old employers. I was part of the good old days, and then they started to make and implement change in the workforce, and that change was not good for the people that knew of the yesterday of working, but the people that
Yeah,
was being hired into the newness, they thought the job was wonderful.
yeah,
But because I knew about the real wonderful days before the strictness and the money started getting taken for different things, and you started losing money for different things, it was horrible for me. But for the people just coming to the door, it was a great opportunity. And I use that as an analogy to say that we have to remember the tried and true days. We got to remember the analog way of thinking before everything went digital. You know, we have to remember the 8 track and the tape deck and the CD
yeah,
player and the vinyl, and because those things are solidified. They work, and
Yeah.
they were all right. And that, but yet we give up all these different things that are all right because of convenience. And convenience isn't always a good thing. Convenience is sensationalized.
Um, I mean, and yeah, I can see convenience being sensationalized. Because obviously, people they put a price on it, and oftentimes that price is regardless of the price is paid.
Right.
Hey, if you stop at a gas station, and you don't feel like actually running into a store, that same bag of chips that would have costed you 75 cents, it's gonna cost you $2 now.
Yeah. I know you've probably witnessed this. You ever leave your sweater or hoodie at home and you need something and you go into one of them truck stops to buy a hoodie? Man, the thing about $40,
Yeah,
$50 for a hoodie.
yeah, and they thin as parchment paper too.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Like they ain't even use cotton for these things, man.
Man, listen,
You got more cotton on a cotton swab.
man, let me hey, let me tell you something, Peacock, man. I've as a matter of fact, I just looked at a piece of cheesecake at a truck stop.
Yeah.
Looked at the cheesecake. I'm like, $6 for one slice. I'm talking about, like, how if you take your children to like a birthday party and they get a
Yeah.
kid, they slice the cake
Yeah.
and it be a little
Yeah.
thin
Look
slice.
thin. You can see through it. It's
Six
transparent.
$6 and it was like $6.49.
And people buying it.
Yeah, they flying off the shelf, I bet.
Not for me.
Not I, said the cat.
Hey, I've been there croaked before I bought that. But yeah, man, I was just closing up, man, just to say, you know, hold. Sometimes you got to hold fast to the yesterday, you know, before you jump on, because sensationalism would pick you up and it'll carry you off.
Yeah,
It'll carry you off, and if you know anything about how it used to be, remember that you don't have to always jump into the new thing right away. You know what I mean? I was talking about, we spend over $1,000 on these cell phones, and you get one every year, every 2 years.
Steve Jobs busting you across your head.
Yeah, man, Samsung too. That flip phone and that fold phone, them things 11,
Oh, the
twelve hundred
Z and
dollars.
the X or whatever they call it, the Y. I don't know.
Yeah, why are you buying it? That's what I'm trying to figure out. I like those type. I like technology, and I would buy stuff like that. But I thought about it. I said, man, I'm not doing it no more, man.
Yeah.
I'm unsubscribing, man.
I ride an old phone out for, man, shoot, until it stop getting updates.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
If they keep updating it, I'ma hang on to it.
yeah. And that's why I like mine's going to be updated for like 5, 6 years, and I get all the updates first. So until then, I'm rocking out with this one, man. I'm tired of it, man. It's bill be $200 because you making payments on the phone. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, I'm over that. If I can't buy the phone outright, I'ma hang on to it.
Right.
I'ma hang on to the old one.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. But man, that's all I got for tonight, man. We done rolled for an hour and 20 minutes, man. I think it was a pretty good conversation, man. Let them know what's up. If you got any last words?
No last words, man. Just appreciate the support. Much love to everybody out there, man. This was a good live. I felt like we was in the swing of things, man. But you can definitely still find me at Daryl Sales. That's on Facebook. Daryl DJ Sales on Instagram. That's DARYLLE. Sales like salesman. He gonna tell you. Yes, right. You know. And also I be in and out of clubhouse, man, getting my little theology on. I'm not gonna cap, man. Sometimes I be in the toxic rooms.
Hey, I
You
see
know.
you in them toxic rooms sometimes. I said, man, what is
if not for anything else, man, for entertainment,
I was
just to
using
get
one
a
I think I saw was like my baby mama cheating on me or something like that.
oh, it was it said black do why do black men cheat instead of holding themselves accountable?
Oh, okay.
I was like,
Bro, I'm not even tempted to cheat. I'm not even, you know what I mean? It's not even something that crossed my mind, man.
but even if it's because we don't want to hold ourselves accountable,
Right.
ma'am, no. Like what? This whole
You knew
toxic.
that.
Like,
He said, ma'am, you knew that was a woman.
yeah, oh yeah. It ain't nothing but man. The whole room is toxic. It's probably still going on right now.
It might be, man. I had jumped in. I be jumping in to see if you in, and I jump out of.
Yeah.
It'd be like
But
30 minutes later.
yeah, I
I
don't know. I like the theology. I like the theological rooms, like especially the historical ones, man. Like where they talk about who is Edom and who is Esau, or breakdown of Jeremiah or Isaiah 9, or stuff like that, where it's coming with history. I like those rooms. Those tend to go on
right,
long, 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 and it's just straight information, so
right,
it ain't like somebody getting beside themselves. But yeah,
right. Man, my,
yeah.
my family just rolled about him walking through the door, man. Let me
Oh
before my children
Lord.
bust through that door, man. Hey, you can find us at Degrees Separation on everything, DEGREEZ, Degrees Separation on Facebook and Instagram. Degrees Separation, all one word on YouTube. Man, hit us up on Cash App, man. Intellect, Intellect one. You heard him? He
They
already,
coming.
yeah, they coming, man. $NTELLECT one on Cash App. Help us support the podcast, man. We may be 1 or 2 degrees separated from each other, but when it comes to God, there should be 0 degrees of separation, and we out.